All right, so I've had a request to do number 4A from the spring semester review. So the first thing that we need to do is write the chemical equation that they give us, which is calcium plus water yields calcium hydroxide plus H2. So then you need to ask, is it balanced? And we've got one calcium, two hydrogen plus two hydrogen, that's four hydrogen. So already we're not balanced. So we need to balance it. Well, so what do you need to do? You need to have 4 hydrogen on this side and 2 oxygen on this side. So you need to do a coefficient of 2 in front of the water, and then you're balanced. All right. So then the question asks, if 2.48 grams of calcium react, how many grams of calcium hydroxide will be produced? So again, it says if 2.48 grams of calcium react, then how many grams of calcium hydroxide will it create? So I'm going from one compound to a completely different compound, and you really need to use your molar roadmap. And I know it's been a while, but let's just review it. We can go from grams to moles. I'm going to say atoms, molecules, formula, units. And then let's do so the other little one that we have here is we can do liters. Remember, that's at STP, and that is 22.4 liters. All right, so on this one, we're going from grams of one compound to grams of another. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to start here, grams of one, and we have to go to grams of another. But what's the only way that we can get from here to there? We can't go directly. We've got to go from grams to moles to grams. So let's do it. So again, just using the only number you're going to use is what your given is. So I have 2.48 grams of calcium, and I'm going to go from grams of calcium to moles of calcium. From moles of calcium, I'm going to go to moles of calcium hydroxide. From moles of calcium hydroxide to grams of calcium hydroxide. Oh, I didn't leave enough space. Eee. So once you have your top row done, you can come back in, and what goes underneath your given? A 1. And then you're going to fill in your units as you go. So the units go underneath moles of calcium are grams of calcium. The units that go underneath moles of calcium hydroxide are moles of calcium. The units that go underneath grams of calcium hydroxide are moles of calcium hydroxide. So once we've got all the units in, we can come back through and look at each individual section. So in this section, we have everything done. Let's look at the next one. Which one's bigger, a mole or a gram? A mole. So I write a 1. How many grams are there in 1 mole of calcium? Well, look on the periodic table. That's going to be 40.07. Then I look at this one. I'm comparing moles of calcium hydroxide to moles of calcium. Well, this is that stoic relationship, and you're going to use your coefficients from your balanced equation. And remember, there's this invisible one there and an invisible one there. No, that doesn't look like a 1. So we're lucky it's like that. Then I look at this one. I've got grams and moles. Which one's bigger, a gram or a mole? Right? It's a mole once again. And then how many grams are in 1 mole of calcium hydroxide? That's the molar mass. So you're going to get the molar masses off of the periodic table and add them up, and we come up with 74.092. To solve this, multiply everything on the top, divide it by everything on the bottom, and you should get a number. I'm not going to calculate it for you because I think that you can calculate it. But how many sig figs can you have? Only 3, because you're going to look at your given, and that one has 3. So your answer can only have 3 sig figs.